Good evening, peoples. I'll just wait till I get a couple of viewers. Hello, Sylvia. Hi, Mum. I think I've got a couple of people watching now, so I will start without further ado. At the top of the show, as always, I will say welcome and thank you for joining me this evening. I will start by saying a few things that have made me happy this week, and I'm giggling because earlier on I was in such a grumpy mood. I think I was just feeling a bit like the weather or a bit like Eeyore or something, and chatting to Mum, and I said, oh, I've got to think 3 things that have made me happy. What's made me happy? You see, I am a real person. I'm not always jolly and full of beans. So 3 things. Now it's good to reflect because things have made me happy this week, and 3 of those things are I got new wellies, but not just any wellies. Oh no, I got some really nice wellies. So that made me happy. In fact, it made me so happy that I wore them all yesterday evening in the house just to break them in like you do. I also went for a lovely walk on Saturday and the sun came out for a short while. I saw lots of nice colours and textures, and one of the things I mean I did write a small blog about it, but one of the things that I really love in winter in particular, because it's not a riot of colour like in summer and a riot of sound, and you know how much I love nature, but one of the things I love to do in winter is to look at the really small details of nature. So things like lichen and moss and the really gorgeous colours and any fungi that's around. I like to take photographs really close up in macro of really natural things. So that made me happy on Saturday, and I finally, actually something that really made me happy, finally got round to planting my tulip bulbs, because tulip bulbs like to be planted quite late, usually November, when there's been a frost, and we haven't really had many hard frosts, so I'd left it, and then I missed various windows of weather. And so at the weekend I thought, you know what, I really could be doing other things, but I'm going to go out, and I had a really good time in the garden. It did me the world of good to dig. So they were the things that have made me happy. So there you go. I'm not always upbeat, and I've had a bit of a gloomy day today, but we're past that and I'm here, and tonight actually doing this cheers me up always. So thank you for joining me. So what are we doing tonight? I'm going to show you a lovely project, and I have to say thank you to a Canadian paper crafter who isn't a Stampin' Up demonstrator. She goes by the Instagram and social media name of so you know the little @ symbol, Liz the Paper Project, and she's a very talented paper crafter. She makes lots of what she calls junk journals. So, oh, hi, Brenda and Catherine have joined. Hi, everyone. So if anyone likes vintage looking, scrapbooking, journal type pieces of paper crafting, Liz the Paper Project is a really great person just to follow. I find her quite inspirational. I just love the work that she does, and she posted a really cool video on how to make this actually very simple 1-sheet wonder. I'm going to call it a mini album, but I'm going to show you 2 versions this evening. I've made one as a memory keeping album. I'm going to call it a grandma's brag book, and I've actually made it for my sister-in-law, so I didn't want to share the contents or the inside too much on social media because I didn't want her to see it. But I think I'm fairly safe in that she doesn't watch my live videos, so I'm going to show you the inside of that. And then the other one I've made as a Christmas project to hold some gift vouchers. So that's what we're going to make, or that's what I'm going to show you how to make. So if you're making along, I will do the measurements, but one kind of piece of advice is that these, and you will get the idea when I share both of them because they're quite different. Same but different, that is my catchphrase. You will get the idea that the base folded piece is really easy to make. Uses 1 sheet of 12 by 12 or 30cm by 30cm designer series paper, and how you decorate it then is up to you, and you can play with it, just have some fun. So I would suggest that you get some, to start with, maybe get some old DSP out and have a play, and then just go from there. So let me spin you around. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is that in both of the projects I'm going to be using I have used bundles that will be retiring at the end of the Christmas catalogue. One looks really Christmassy and one doesn't look Christmassy, but I just wanted to point out that both of the bundles of product are actually retiring, and I wanted to kind of give them a bit of a last hurrah, and they are available on the end of year sale, and I'll tell you about the discounts as I go along. So let me get my glasses on, let me spin you around, let's have a look. I'll spin you around to look at my wall first, and then we'll just get you in position. So I need to get rid of that cable. Let's see if I can get rid of that there. And let me spin you around. Oh, I need some extra light. Let me just... Whoop. Oh, as always, I just need a bit of wiggly to get you in position. Am I actually level there? Move my notebook, and I'm just going to bring a second studio light in. That might help. Let's put that down there a little bit. That might just light things up. So, as always, I'll just leave this here. You know by now what this is all about. This is where I am on social media, and this is the host code for, well, for now, and I will say a little bit more about that just at the end of the video. But let me just share with you, I'll leave that there for a sec. Let me just share with you both of these little books. I might as well take that away. Let's take it away. Let's get rid of it. So let me share with you both of these. They both look very different. So let's start with the first one. So this is a brag book. So this is for my sister-in-law, Christine, who has the most beautiful and adorable granddaughter, my great niece, Isabel Grace. And I wanted to give her something as a keepsake because I got these little photos. So this is how it opens first off, and you'll see this piece can come out. So the idea with the brag book is, instead of handing round your phone, we all have photos of our loved ones on our phone, and we hand them round when we're not socially distancing. Oh, look at this lovely photo. And then, you know, people turn your phone and it spins, and then your screen goes black, and then oh, my screen's gone black, I can't see what it is. So the idea of a brag book is it's small enough to go in your handbag, and you can take the bits out and you can say, oh, have I shown you these photos of my great niece, Isabel Grace? Isn't she gorgeous? And this is a pull out, and I've done a couple of gorgeous, I printed these, so I did a bit of a search online and found a couple of little poems about girls. You can read it, and then one on the other side. I just printed it out onto the DSP, and that goes in a hidden pocket. I'll show you how that's made as we go along. If I can get that back in, it'd be fab. I'll just leave that there for a minute. And then you turn it over and it opens out and opens out again. So let's go back here. So we've got another piece that's held in by those photo corners that I've just made out of DSP. Really simple. And another couple of pockets with more photos, and they all come out, so you can just hand them round, show off your loved ones. Look, here's another one, I could hand that round. How gorgeous is she? She's just adorable. She is the happiest, cutest babe. Look. And our nephew and his wife had this photo shoot done, and I think it was Snapfish who did the actual photo shoot. Oh, let me find that hidden pocket while I'm here and pop that back in there. They did this photo shoot, and then I got a link to all the photos, and I sent off for some full-size ones, and I also got some mini photos, and it's the mini photos that I've been able to use in this pretty album for Christine, so I hope she likes that. So I wanted to just tell you about the products that I've used that are retiring. So I used one of my favourite products that I got right at the beginning of the catalogue, if you remember, the Ornamental envelope stamp set and the matching envelope dies. And the matching envelope dies do those cute liners. So I can show you the dies I've used. So I've used this die here to create this cut out label for the front. I've used the stamp set. The stamp set's so cute. It's not overtly Christmassy if you look at some of the other images, and if you remember, if you followed me and you saw the Dreamcatcher canvas I did, I used a lot of these images on that. So I used this corner image up here and throughout the whole album, and you can see that I've used the envelope cutting dies. So these dies that you use to make the envelopes, I've used them on these flaps and the tops of the tags. And where else? Oh, and I made a little tiny envelope using the smallest one, and I used this die to make this cut out at the top of here. It reminds me of broderie anglais. So a really useful set of dies, and these are actually in the sale at 50% off. Just the dies are in the sale. The stamp set is retiring as well, but there's no money off the stamp set. But with the dies having 50% off, it's worth getting them together, and it's still cheaper than buying the bundle. So the dies, let me see, they're £16.50 now. So that's what I've used there. I've also used throughout this, so these corners here, I've used the triple punch, and I'm going to be using that on this project, so you'll see how I've used that. So that's that project. So whilst I've used Christmas products, it's not overtly, it's not a Christmas project, finished project. The DSP I've used is the Peony. I've forgotten what it's called, Peony DSP, and that's in the annual catalogue, so that's staying around until the end of June, end of May, beginning of June next year. So you can get this, and it's petal pink. If you're wondering what pink it is, so it's petal pink, and I've used petal pink cardstock to match, and it is. Yes, what's the grey? It's grey granite, that's right, grey granite. So that's that one. Let me just pop that to one side. Now this project is a Christmas project, so exactly the same construction for the main album, and then I've decorated it differently. I've used the coming home papers. So the DSP here I've used is 50% off, so that's now £5.38 if it's still in stock. So exactly the same construction, but I've just decorated it slightly differently inside. So here I've got another piece that I can take out, and I'm going to write a Christmas greeting on there. This one is actually for my niece. I have two nieces, and I've got them gift vouchers for the first time for Christmas because I'm not going to be seeing them. This is a little card, so a pull-out card. I'm going to write a Happy Christmas note in there so that can stand up, so she can take that out and stand that up. And I've made a pocket, so I've just made a pocket on that side. And then I close that up and turn it over and then open again. And here I've used an envelope decorated, and I've got a pull-out tag. And again I can write another little secret note there. And that folds over again, and now I've got three pockets because these girls are lucky. They're getting some vouchers for Next, so they're going to get vouchers for Next because they just love buying their own clothes now, and of course encouraging them to be creative and crafty, a voucher for the works because they love to go in the works and go a bit bananas. And also another secret pocket with a big tag inside, which I'm going to write more Christmassy notes, so they've got something just to really look at. So that's the way that closes up, That's the back side, that's the front. So let's just open that again. There you go, the first thing. So it's a card. For me, this project is a card and gift all in one. And let me just show you how absolutely flipping ugly the vouchers were when I got them from the shelf. So there you go, that's the best they could do in the works. Brussels sprouts with Christmas hats on. I mean, next vouchers, boo, look at those. That's just dull. No, that's a bit more festive. But still, I think this one maybe just wins a bit. So I've got another one to do for the other niece, big sister, and that's what I'm going to show you to do this, how to do this evening. We'll see, we'll keep an eye on time, but I'm sure we'll have enough time to make it all, and you will hopefully follow along. So let me just move that one out of the way, and I'm going to get some designer series paper. Now, I wanted to use the same paper from the same set, and one thing you have to think about, just back to this one uses paper that is omnidirectional, so there's no flowers going this way, it could go anyway, and I've only used one piece of 12 by 12, so this is the one side and this is the other side of the 12 by 12, and that's what I've used for the actual album. And then I've used additional pieces of cardstock for the bits and pieces, and additional pieces of DSP from the pack, just scraps to decorate it with. Now this one, I actually had to use 2 pieces of DSP because this is one side and this is the other side, and you can see that the houses are the right way up. When it came to folding it, and it'll all make sense in a minute, on this side the houses were upside down, so I actually had to cut another piece of DSP, and I had to have 3 extra pieces that I could stick on over the top of the upside down houses. So that will all make sense in a moment, because I wanted to use, and I'm going to use for my outside piece, this blue striped DSP, but oh my goodness, I was so shocked when I pulled it out. I thought it was a full piece, and obviously I must have needed a tree for a project, so I fussy cut a tree out of the middle and thought, oh no, will it work? Well, of course it will work when I show you the fold, and I can cover this up because this section will become the upside down houses that I actually need to cover over in any case, so this will be fine and all will be well. So let's get on and I'll show you how I did it. I'm going to use my big scoreboard this evening, just because I don't use it that often, but you can use your trimmer. Now I'm going to have to think about the pattern, and because I want my houses to be the inside, I'm going to actually I'm going to turn them around this way so that I've got them sideways, and I'm going to make my first score. I think I must have lost a foot from underneath because I've got a wobble on. Yes, I have. Never mind. So I'm going to make my first score at 6 inches. And because I'm scoring DSP, I'm using the bigger ball on the ball-ended tool rather than the small ball. So 6 inches. And then I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to score at 4 and at 8. And at 8. And now, that's right, I'm good. Just pop my scoring board to one side and hopefully that won't fall over and make a crash. Now I'm going to just fold all of those score lines. Doesn't matter which way, I just want them to be nicely folded. And hopefully I can explain why it doesn't matter so much about that hole. Do take care when you're folding your score lines, because I've just scored that slightly off. I'm going to use my bone folder so I get some nice scores. So what you do to make your album is, so this is going to be, I'm just going mad. I'm going mad. Let's have a look. That's going to be my outside. So am I doing this right? Have I done it right? I've only made 2 of these so far. Yes, I am. I've done it right. That's fine. So what I'm going to do now is, it's amazing how once I get on air I go to pieces. I don't know why. So I've now got, I want to be able to make sure that you can see the creases. So I've got a crease across the middle, and then I've got 2 creases like this, and this makes my pages. If I open it out, that'll make more sense. That makes my pages 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's just put that carefully to one side. I need to cut in along this middle crease, but just to the first one, and in to the first one. So I'm going to turn that round, and I'm hoping this stripe isn't sending anyone's eyes funny. It's sending my eyes funny. I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to just use my big scissors. I'm going to cut carefully along that crease line, but just up to that crease line. Then I'm going to whiz it round, and I'm going to do the same here. It's also amazing how you can't see as well when you're standing up much higher above your project. Don't want to get my head in the shot. Now you can see that's starting to make sense, and now I've got my pages that fold in, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to yes, I'm going to glue it that way around. That's right. So I'm going to fold it back on itself. So this piece that's damaged is going to be form the upside down houses on the other side. So what you do is you've got your side flaps now, and your top and your bottom. So you're going to fold in right and left and right and left. And you can see how those creases just need a good burnish. Just really straighten them up and give them a really good burnish so that they start to lie flat. That's better. And fold over and give it a good old burnish. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift it and fold it that way so that my crease is along the bottom towards me and my open tops are at the top away from me. Now if you want to have a secret hidden pocket, so that actually forms, we're going to stick this surface and this surface together, okay, and that will make your book open like this, turn it over and open like this. And now you can see that the houses on this side are upside down, so we're going to cut 3 extra pieces of DSP and hide these and cover them. Now because I've got this hole here, if you want a secret pocket, when we glue this together, we're not going to glue the whole surface. We're going to actually just glue the edges and leave the top open. So let me just go back to that. Let me just, bear with me. That's it, like that. So that's my front. So let's open it all again. So we've got the houses or the pattern the right way up, and we fold in right, left, and then fold it in half. So we've got the fold at the bottom and the openings at the top. Now because I do want a secret pocket, but I've got this funny hole here, I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stick a little patch on that, just with a piece of scrap. You won't be able to see it from the outside once it's done. So let me just go in my bag of bits that I've got left over from this DSP. And I do actually have some of the same blue Not that it matters because you're not going to see it. I'm going to cover it all up entirely. So I'm just going to cut myself roughly a piece. But the reason I want to pop a bit of a patch on, in fact, is because I don't want my tag to catch on that hole once I'm sliding my tag in. So let me just rectify that. And to stick it, I want to put my glue. I don't want to put my glue on the back of this piece because it'll go through the hole. So I'm just going to actually put my glue here. You don't need to obviously worry about this because you're not going to have a patch to put on. I just need to make sure that glue, I get rid of any of that glue that's squished there. I do apologise if my head's coming into shot. Now, you will have a piece like this, so you'll have your fold, your crease at the bottom and your openings at the top. Now, you've got two choices. You can either stick this entirely and not have a secret pocket, or you can have a secret pocket, in which case you're going to put a very thin bead of glue down each side, but just at the top. Just on this top half. Then you're going to fold that over and you're going to use your bone folder to squish it down. So now our book is joined together. We've got two opening sheets. We can turn it over and we've got two openings on this side like so, and we've got a secret pocket in which we can put a tag. So that's the base of your book. That's the actual base of your let's call it an album. That's the base of your mini album. Now it's up to you how you go on and decorate it. So if we go back to this one, the original, we can see that when I open it, I've got just 2 pages and not 3. So what I did with this one was I trimmed this side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to trim half of this one off. Use my trimmer. So this is when you open it from the front. You open left, right, and I'm going to trim half of the right hand flap away completely. Now your right hand flap measures just over 10 centimetres or 4 inches it should be. So I'm actually going to take off. Now this is where you need to be very careful to get it nice and straight. As you can see, I've got a little bit of a gap there, and it's just because the papers don't actually line up entirely. You just have to go with it. It's paper folding. So I'm going to take off 5 centimetres, and what that does is that gives me a little flap and a bit of extra. So I'm going to pop the bit of extra to one side. I'm going to sit down now. Now I've got going. And I can make this piece into a side pocket. Really simple. I'm just going to put a thin bead of glue. And I've pretty much used wet glue throughout this because I just find it more forgiving than tape glue. Just a thin bead of glue on the edge of this fold. Fold that back over. Again, use my bone folder. If you do get extra glue that squidges out, try and remove it straight away. If you've got a piece of kitchen paper to hand, you can wipe it away very quickly whilst it's wet. Once it's dry, if you've got a glue rubber, now I've got lots of glue on my mat because I've been gluing like a demon for the last 2 days. So where's that sticky glue there? Let me get rid of that. And then it doesn't stick everything down. Okay, so now I've got myself a little pocket here. I also on my original made 2 photo corners, and I used a piece of scrap for that. So I'm going to keep this big piece in case I might use it a bit further down the line, and I'm going to have a rummage back in my packet. I'm going to pull out some bits and pieces. Look, some of the scraps that I've got left from previous projects. You've seen me use this DSP over the last few weeks, so let's have a rummage. Look, I have got more of that striped stuff, got some spotty stuff, plenty of bits of scrap here. So I think I might stick with the striped motif, and I'm going to cut myself, using my trimmer, a 2-inch square. So first of all, I'm going to tidy that up and get rid of some of the scrappy edges. Let's have a look. What am I doing here? Let's get rid of these and make it into a square to start with. And then I'm going to make myself a 2-inch square. I think that was right. It's a really good way of using your scraps of this project. And then with that 2-inch square, I'm actually going to cut it on the diagonal. Let's just slice that up. And that will give me some photo corners. And I can pop one here and one down here. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And the way I stick those in, really simply, that thin bead of glue again on the right angle edges. It's all about making sure you control your glue. You don't want too much on at all. So that's just as much as you need, not a lot of glue. Less is definitely more on this kind of project. Now let me just do a check. Let's have a little show of hands. Who is actually attempting to make a long this evening? If I just finish gluing this, and if I have a quick, if you just comment yes, then I'll know if I do have anyone making. I can slow down a bit and I can recap. And if I don't have anyone making along but who's maybe going to have a go later, then I'll just work at my pace, which, as we know, can be a bit speedy. Let's have a look. Any comments? Who've I got? I've got Sylvia, Catherine, Mum. I think I might have Brenda there somewhere. I'm surprised if Sue isn't watching. I think this is right up Sue's street, because Sue has granddaughters as well. I know I've got a bit of a delay, so let me hang on. And maybe you could comment no as well, and then I know that you heard me. What's an epic fail, Mum? You've had an epic fail already. Sylvia's just watching. Why have you had an epic fail? Is that with the folding? Do I need to recap? Okay. I did think Mum might be trying to make a long. So shall I recap? Brenda's just watching. Can you just type in the comments, Mum, whether you want me to recap the fold or shall I just crack on? Oh, there's always a delay. Okay. If I sit down, a comment will come up and I'll miss it. Ah, just chose the wrong sort of DSP. Just crack on. Right, let's crack on. You can always watch me back and you can pause and take your time to do it. So we've got the first 2 pages constructed. We'll come back to the decoration and the bits that we add in a minute. So let's turn it over and let's open to the inside first of all. So now we can see we've got our upside down houses, which is never any fun unless you're living in Australia, is it? So what we're going to do is we're going to cut some DSP from another piece, and I've chosen this with the little tiny people pretty much because that's all I had left in this set. And let me just get my measurements So I did write them down for ease of reference. I need, except I didn't write these down for some reason. Oh, anyway, let's just go. So now actually I want to point out, you can see where my little hole was, that I've done a patch. That's my little hole. So we definitely need to cover all of this, but we're not going to cover it in one because you'll never get the folds to work if you cover it in one. So we're going to cut 3 separate pieces, and we're going to cut them 4 inches by 6 inches. So the 6 inches is the length and the 4 inches is the width of each piece, but we're going to cut them just shy of that measurement. They're definitely going to be 6 inches long or tall. And again, I'm thinking of my orientation of my pattern. And then I'm going to cut them at just short of 4 inches to allow for that crease and that fold to be able to fold in. So let's get that nice and square. You can see I'm just going shy of 4 inches. That's 1. That's 2. And this one should be 3. It should be just take a tiny sliver off, you can see. Now if I'd have just gone one piece and done 2 creases in it and stuck it down, it would end up being quite bulky and it really wouldn't fold. So it's worth cutting it into these 3 separate pieces. It also gives you the option of flipping the DSP and having a contrast in the middle, which is exactly what I'm going to do. So now I can choose, excuse me, I can choose whether to stick this completely flat, or I can choose to make a diagonal pocket. If I want to do a diagonal pocket, and I could actually, what I'm going to do on this one is do it a bit different. You see I've got a diagonal pocket here and a straight flap pocket here. And on this one I think I'm going to do 2 diagonal pockets. And what I should be able to do if I do, even though I've not practiced this, I need to give it some thought. If I do 2 diagonals and I cut them both the same, will I be able to flip the piece of DSP? That's frying my brain, so I'm going to play it safe. Although I've got extra here. Let's be brave. Let's be brave. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to stick this middle piece totally flat, because not only does that cover up the upside down houses, it covers the hole in the middle. So that's a safe thing to do. So I'm going to put my glue all over that middle piece. Like I say, if you used DSP that was omnidirectional, so it had a pattern that didn't matter in which direction it actually went, then you wouldn't need to do this covering up activity on this side, because you would have, and I'm just trying to make sure that that piece is away from, I've got a feeling it's quite close to that crease. No, it's good. It's good. You see, by cutting it just a little bit shy of 4 inches, it's allowed those creases, those folds, to actually fold nicely. Now I'm going to be brave. My head's telling me one thing, but sod's law will probably tell me something else. If I cut both of these on the diagonal, let me do one first. So I'm going to cut corner to corner across the diagonal, and you'll see I've just moved my cutting blade into the middle, and I'm going to start in the middle and go middle to the edges, because if you start here and you try and cut into a corner, often it will just push the corner up and crease it. So let me just do a bit of thinking here. So I want a diagonal pocket, and I'm quite fancying flipping the DSP. I'm not sure. If I flip that to there and that to there, Yes, I need to go that way. That's fine. That's fine. It will work. So I need to go like that. That's what I need to do. Oh, did you hear my brain thinking out loud then? That was really quite taxing. Hoping that this is going to work. So I've now got a top to that one and a bottom to that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my green pieces down flat, and I'm going to stick my top pieces just on the edges, so that will make a tuck in flap. No, that's wrong. I want to tuck in flap that way. Oh, brain. So I'm going to stick my little peoples down completely flat. Of course, you can always play this video back. You can ignore me waffling and just follow the... Yes, in fact, you could probably watch it without sound. That might be marvellous. Just get that a bit closer. So now to make this tuck in pocket, I'm going to just put my glue down my right angle straight edges and not the diagonal, as close to the edge as I can. Got a very sticky mat still. Thin bead of glue. I've got glue here as well. Glue rubber is definitely your best friend on a project like this. And it's a tool I really use a lot and really wish that we still sold. You can buy them online, but sadly we don't sell them at Stampin' Up anymore. So now that's given me a tuck in pocket here for that other gift voucher. So let's do the same on the opposite side. So let's stick our little peoples down totally flat. Yes, I think I said earlier, this DSP, if it's still left, is in the sale at 50% off. Last time I looked, things were selling out so quickly. Always with an end of line sale. It's while stocks last, of course, because the items are retiring. So once they're gone, they're gone. And if you remember, I said last week that tomorrow is the last day for orders. Now I don't want you to worry about this gap here, because it's not the focal point. The focal point's going to be, if I bring in my original, there is a gap here, but it's really not the focal point, because we're going to decorate it with lots of other things. So we've now got another tuck in pocket here. So that's part of the inside done. I'm going to add, we saw these little packs of 3" by 3" envelopes, so I'm going to add an envelope to the middle that I can tuck in that third gift voucher. Now I could tuck the flap inside, that flap will tuck inside, or I can simply chop it off entirely, which is exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to stick that envelope as simply as that. And that will give me another quick and easy pocket. And of course, if you weren't giving 3 gift vouchers, and you were maybe just giving 1 gift voucher, you can still put different greetings inside these pockets. So now I have another pocket here, look, that I can pop a gift voucher in. So that's the inside of the back, and it's always worth, oh, I'm gluey, refolding those flaps and just recreasing with your bone folder, making sure that it works nicely. Now on my other one, on this one, I've actually put another envelope. I'm going to do exactly the same on this one, so let me reach for another envelope. But this time I actually made the envelope open out, so it's like a secret pocket, and I decorated it with some DSP, a strip of DSP to hold it in place. Now I think I'm going to go with the theme that we've got going, so I'm just going to reach for my piece with the little peoples, and I'm going to cut a strip, and I think I'll go for, this doesn't even have to be measured precisely, but I'm just going to go for a strip that wide. It's probably 3.5 centimetres, and that should be by 6 inches, centimetres and inches. Let's just, you know, flip from one to the other. Now I'm going to first of all glue my flap to this page. Yes, so last orders to guarantee Christmas delivery is tomorrow. So if anybody is watching and wants to get an order to me, I'd really like it by lunchtime, and then I can get my order off. If I don't have any orders by tomorrow lunchtime, I'll not be placing another order until probably the end of December. And I'm going to cover that flap up with my strip of DSP. And I think these little albums could be really lovely for a special birthday. If you wanted to do a special birthday card, you could include memories, or maybe an anniversary card would be lovely for that person or that couple. You could include some photographs or some notes about memories that you have. Say if it's a special, we've got some friends who were actually the witnesses at our wedding, and if it was their anniversary, it might be nice to put in some photographs of times that we've had together. I don't know where that piece has come from. It's a bit of a stray there. Now we're going to do some further decoration. So now we've got, let's bring in the original and remind ourselves. Fold that over. So we'll start from the beginning of the book, which is that side. We need to decorate the front, so we need a little piece to go on the front. So let's start there, and I've written down all the measurements for the labels that I've used. But of course, when you get to this stage and you've got your pockets and your flaps and your bits and bobs, it's entirely up to you how you decorate it. You might have some dies that you want to cut, use die cuts, or just some label punches, or you might simply want to just use rectangles of card scrap. So raid your scrap bin. I'm actually going to use some bits and pieces of scrap and probably a full sheet as well. So let me just pop that there. So the label on the front that I've used is 7.5 by 5 centimetres. So 5 centimetres by 7.5, and I'm going to cut all these pieces in one, and then I'm going to punch them. So that's the bit for the front. Now I've got a piece for the inside. I'm going to write a message on, and that one was 8 by 12, but I'm looking at this piece that I've got here, and I'm wondering, because it's a scrap, 8 by 12, marvellous. So I've now got those two pieces. I had two pieces. Oh, I had one big piece for the secret pocket, and that was 7.5 by 16. So let me just cut the longest measurement. Actually, my 16, I know 16 is, I lift it up on my trimmer instead of butting against the edge, and I can just see 16 there. So I'm going to cut that long piece first, and that's 7.5 for the bit that goes inside the secret pocket. And then I have 2 pieces that I'm going to attach the vouchers to inside the secret pockets, or the side pockets here, and they measure 5.5 by 10.5. So what have I got width here? 5.5 by 10.5. Let's just cut that down. Let's cut a couple of those. 5.5, 5.5. So that's those 2. And then I've got a little bit, a 7 by 7 inside one of my envelopes. And I do want to make a mini card, so let's just measure this mini card before I chop that up. The mini card I want to make for this one, I'm going to make out of this. This is Poppy Parade, so I need a piece that is 10 by 14. So let's have a look. What does that measure? That measures 14. So I'm just going to chop that piece off first and score it 7. So I've got my little card. Pop that one back in the original. And I said I needed a piece 7 by 7. Right, I'm just going to have a look at my screen. Okay, that's fine, I've got no more comments. So we can crack on and we can decorate, do all the little bits of decoration, because I've got all my pieces of card cut to size. So I started off with that piece for the front, which should be this small piece, and I used my triple punch, which is just flipping fabulous. I'm going to use every single side of this triple punch, so I'm going to corner round everything. Just try and get myself straight. And this does work much better if your eyes are up above. So I am, if you could see my setup, I am sitting pretty much at sort of arm stretch length away. And I want to just put this pretty punch cut out on 2 of the corners, so I will just, that's better, and then on the opposite corner, oh, wrong one, that one, pay attention, that's better, and just get rid of those bits. So that's my piece to decorate the front, and what I do intend to do actually is stamp and maybe heat emboss a Christmas greeting across here for the front decoration. So that's that. Inside I had a piece that went, that was a scrap piece, that was that piece that went in my photo corner. So again I'm going to corner round everything. I hope this isn't too boring watching me do something like this. And then I'm going to do 2 opposite corners again with the, I don't know what to call it, fancy corner. And what I intend to do with these pieces for both of the girls is I'm going to look online and I'm going to find some nice sort of Christmas, maybe a funny poem or something, or a little verse or a funny Christmas quote, and I'll either handwrite it on or I'll print it out and stick it on. And now I'm going to make the little card that goes in this side. So I've got the little greetings card, and I'm going to stamp and die cut using the dies. Now I have to say that the DSP is in the sale. The dies are retiring and the stamp set is retiring, but neither of them have any money off. So it's my guess that these will hang around. Maybe, just a guess, can't guarantee. They might hang around a little bit longer than the things that have got lots of money off. So I'm going to use those dies. But first of all I'm going to stamp, and I've just realised I haven't got the big tree out. Excuse me. Have I still got some people watching? I've not sent you all to sleep. I bet you're all watching something else with one eye. What's on now? Now Bake Off's gone. Don't watch telly on a Tuesday, obviously. Am I still on shot now? So I've no idea what's on telly at all on a Tuesday. So I'm using Memento, and I'm going to colour really quickly, I promise. Oh, I can't stamp when I'm not standing right over it. There we go. Yeah, I will colour these really quickly. Again, I could have used the DSP if I had any left and just cut out the images from the DSP, because that was something that I really loved about this set, was that, oh, Royal Variety performance tonight, Best of Bake Off and Royal Variety Show. Oh well, it's entertainment. It might be slightly more entertaining than me. Right, I'm going to colour really quickly. I'm going to use, what's this? Not Granny Apple. I'm going to use light and dark Old Olive. I'm going to use a bit of crumb cake. I'm going to use some, whatever this is. Oh, cherry cobbler. What's this one? Real red. Let's use real red instead. Even though this red is Poppy Parade, I'm going to use real red because I haven't got Poppy Parade blends. Probably use a bit of yellow for the windows, and I'll use a bit of Pool Party for the house. So let's do the trees really quickly. Start off with light Old Olive and just colour. Great thing about blends is that they're very forgiving, and you don't get those lines that you get with the other markers. I quite like using the other markers, but they're just not quite as forgiving. Now I'm going to go and put some shading just down one side. And again, I'm not taking any time over it, it's simply a bit of shading, and I'm going to go back over with the light one because that will blend the two together and just soften that edge, which you'll see when it dries. Let's do the same on that little tree. I think one of the reasons I've been feeling a bit, not grumpy, just a bit, I don't know, indifferent, shall we use that turn of phrase? Is that a bit of a good phrase? Indifferent is because I actually am, and always have been and always will be, a Grinch about Christmas. I actually completely detest this run up to Christmas. I never feel like I've got everything organised. Still haven't written a Christmas card. Got them all made, counted them all up in the box. Plenty of Christmas cards, no envelopes. What am I like? Because I refuse to use nice Stampin' Up envelopes to go through the mail. And maybe that's my own fault, and I'll end up using nice Stampin' Up envelopes because I won't have a chance to get out. So there you go, I'm grumpy about Christmas cards. Thing is, I like making them. I make them, I demonstrate them. I shouldn't be grumpy about them, but I am. I'm grumpy because I don't want to decorate the house, because my house is like a tip, because we're still decorating husband's den. So I've got stuff all over the house. I can't get straight, can't get tidy. I'm just not feeling it, people. So it's got nothing to do with the unprecedented times, the word we shall not mention on this channel, and everything to do with the fact that I just can't be bothered with it all, quite frankly. I'm looking forward to next summer when we can all have a barbecue. Here we go, really quick colouring in, and it will be even quicker die cutting, I promise. Let's just chuck all of that to one side. I will bring in my machine. Are you still watching? Perhaps I need a small glass. Good. That's a really great suggestion, Mum. A small glass of sherry. Why small? I do that every week. I put my machine on top of my bits that I need to actually cut. Yes, why a small glass? Not half a pint. I actually bought another bottle of sherry from the supermarket today. I do love a glass of sherry. Actually, it's not sherry. Now, can someone answer me this question? It's British fortified wine. Is that because they can't call it sherry like we can't call it champagne? Does it have to come from a region to be able to call it sherry? Can anybody answer me that? Anybody with any knowledge of these things? I can't wait till Thursday and my mini machine comes. Mini machine will be available from January the 5th for customers, and I get mine on Thursday and I can't wait to show it off. So let's just finish this quick card. I'm going to take a piece of vellum and a circle punch. Now I'm going to use the 2-inch circle punch, nice and quick. And this is a really quick card. I'm going to just crease, fold that crease. Who stole my glue? Just one dot of liquid glue in the middle of the vellum, which will be hidden by the house. That vellum just makes it sort of have a bit of definition. I'm going to have one dimensional in the middle. I don't want to go mad with dimensionals because this has to fit in the wallet. The other thing I like about these wallets is they're a really nice kind of keepsake as a gift to somebody, and they fold flat in the post. So if you've got a pen friend, I know that's quite an old-fashioned thing to have these days, a pen friend, but isn't it nice to receive happy mail? We get emails and we get a flipping heck, I get messages all the time, every day, ping ping ping, fun, and it's lovely to keep in touch. But isn't it lovely to also get happy mail? So that's just a nice little card. I will stamp Happy Christmas, and I'm going to write Happy Christmas, lots of love from Auntie B. So that can come out and stand up. Now let's turn it over and over again. So we want something just to go on here, and I'm going to just, off camera, I'm going to quickly cut this die, just because I forgot to do that while my cutting machine was on my desk, so I'll just do it to the side here, which in fairness is where I do my cutting generally because I've got a side desk. So I'm just going to pop that on there, just to give it some interest, so it's not completely blank. Yeah, I just think it's lovely to get happy mail. something tangible as well, something you can touch and hold and look at. Now in here, what did we say was going in here? We've got two pieces for the flaps for the gift cards. We've got the hidden tag and we've got a piece to go in the envelope, and again I'm going to decorate them all or use the corner rounder for everything. So let's just give myself some elbow room. Oh, I've only been going an hour, so that's, you know, this project doesn't take that long to do. Once you've got the materials gathered, the first one that you make will take a bit longer. And this time I think I'll do, no idea whether I'm still in shot. Is my hand still in shot? Yes. I'm going to do two next to each other. And I'm also going to use this ribbon threader. So for this I need to just focus. So on the punch you've got a line to give you the middle. So I'm going to think where I'm watching where this is going in, and you need to put it right up against the guide stop. There's a guide stop here. And that just gives me a little ribbon threader, and that can go. Was that for there? No, that wasn't for there. That was for the other envelope on the outside. My apologies. It was to go inside that one. Goes in there. I'll come back and pop some ribbon on. And we had another, I think we had another card, another 7x7, I think. Oh no, we didn't have a card in there, we just put the gift card straight in, that's right. So I'm going to corner around all of these. Oops. I love this punch. This punch is in the annual catalogue, and I'm going to do the same with the patterns on the top. I used to have pen friends when I was at school. I had a Ghanaian pen friend and a German pen friend and a Japanese pen friend. That's one side. Isn't that awful when you lose touch as well? You just, you know, I just grew up and lost interest and thought it was boring to have a pen friend once I'd left school. And I'd absolutely love to be able to get back in touch, in particular with one of my with the Japanese pen friend, but sadly I can't even remember her name, so that's not going to happen. I can't even do a trace on social media. That's really sad. I think she was called Yuki something. Oh, how sad. Anyway, I mean, do kids actually write letters? Do kids actually do pen friends? Kath might know. Kath, do you know? Let's see if there's any comments. Alison's got one already. Oh, a Sherry. I thought you meant a pen friend. Or maybe you did mean a pen friend. Last one. I'm going to just punch that ribbon. I'm hoping that's in the middle. Yes. Now I'm going to just get rid of all these little bits because they just tread all over the house if I let them go on the floor. So just bear with. There, straight in the bin. Lovely. Right. And for this middle one, I'm also going to have a look on the internet and find some Christmas funnies just to write, so I've got a little note, and that one goes in the secret pocket. But first of all, I'm going to put some ribbons, and the ribbon that I used was, because the colours, I'm just going to show you. When you get a pack of DSP, if you're not already aware, on the DSP it always gives you all the colours included in the actual paper, and so I was looking for which blue it was, and it's Misty Moonlight, which is one of the newest in colours. So I have the Misty Moonlight ribbon, and for the outside, turn it to the front again, for the outside ribbon, all I did was I laid my ribbon on the desk, pulled a bit off the spool and wrapped it round to one side, and I guessed how much I would need to tie a bow and just cut it. I knew I'd be able to tidy that up, and to hold it I also used a naughty 1/2 inch circle punch, which I don't think is current, and I went about halfway along. I'm just going to take that piece out from inside. I just eyeballed it, went about halfway along and took a half circle out. And all that is for is so that my bow can just not be right on the edge. It will just tuck in a little bit. And to make sure that the ribbon lays flat, just need to get it. I'm going to tie it round to start with, so I know where the position needs to be. So do this before you stick anything down. Actually tie your ribbon round. Sometimes you need one end longer than the other. So tie your ribbon, and then you know that it's going to be there. I'm going to just hold my finger there. So this is just how I work things out. I'm going to get my Stampin' Seal Plus ready, and I'm going to hold my finger here. I can untie it again, and now I'm going to just put some Stampin' Seal. I'm not going to move that ribbon anywhere. Make sure it doesn't slip. I'm just going to put a bit of Stampin' Seal Plus there, and I'm going to anchor that ribbon down, and that's the only adhesive that the ribbon actually has. I'm going to now stick this label across the front, and I'm going to put quite a bit of Stampin' Seal on the actual label. So I'm being very generous right across the back of that label, because that will help the label to hold the ribbon. You can see that the ribbon's going to wrap all the way around, but also it's not going to be attached, because that will allow that page to open, and it will also allow you to turn it over and open it that way. Whereas if you stuck it down across the back, you wouldn't be able to open this. So you just stick the ribbon at the front and use a label to adhere it, and if you can, just pull a notch out, and that will just allow you to pull your knot around a little bit. So I can pop that card back in. We're nearly done with decoration. I'm just going to finish off with some extra bits of ribbon. So to stick your ribbon onto your tags, I just cut small pieces with angled ends, thread them through. Now I experimented with a couple of different ways of holding these in place. Of course, you could tie a knot. You could run it through double and then pull it back through the loop. You can stick it with a glue dot or tape, or you can staple, and I chose to staple in the end, although it's a bit fiddly getting the staple in the right place. And quite often I miss that top bit like I've just done there, but for the purposes of the demonstration this evening, I'm not going to start pulling it out and rectifying it. Now that secret pocket is right at the front here. It just takes a bit of finding. Ooh. Ooh. It is here somewhere. There it is. And that tag slides in that secret pocket, and that slid in nice and smoothly because I put that patch on that hole. If I'd have left the hole, remember the hole, it would have caught every time it slid in. I'm going to turn that over again. I'm going to pop some ribbon in these two. One snip. I'm not even measuring these, I'm just snipping little bits, popping them through. I've done minimal stamping. Of course I could do some stamping for decoration like I did on the brag book, the first album, where I stamped some bits on the corners. Just have a look through your stamp sets and see what you can use for decorating. You could also stamp sentiments on these tags, or you can write individual messages. And I think I have one more piece of ribbon just to pop on this last. And I'm going to add my gift cards, and we're going to call it job done. And I will recap some of the measurements. And when you slide this one in with the ribbon, it will want to bend the ribbon, and that's fine. Once it's been folded a few times, it will find its own crease. So let me go ahead and add those gift tags. So what I found happened was when you pull a gift tag off the horrible holder, it might have some of those glue bogies left on. Now I'm taking the glue bogies off this one. Ugh, they're horrible, because I want to slide that in the middle envelope. So I'm just going to slide that in, and I'm going to slide it with the receipt as well. Fold that receipt up, and that can go in the pocket. And these ones from Next, when I tore them off, I left the glue bogie on because I actually attached the gift cards to the tags that I'd made. And I can add those. Chuck those away and add those to them. There, pop those in the pockets. Again, along with the receipts, I can slide those in to the pockets. It's really handy. And again, if you were only giving one gift card, you could choose to put it here or here, and you could write some notes. So, second gift wallet finished. Let me tie that bow, and we'll just trim those ribbons. Let's just trim those ribbon ends to the right length. Of course I could go back, I've got no bling on these two for my nieces, so I'm probably going to go back and finish decorating them with some bling. Definitely going to write some little messages to them both, maybe some Christmas, maybe some funny Christmas things. I'm going to have a look online, some Christmas inspirational quotes. So let's have a look at both of these. Same but different. Let's have a tidy up. Let's have a tidy up, then we can have a nice look at those. So yeah, same but different for both of these, and then very different for this one. Let's just line them up, and that'll give me a nice, oh, let's have them like that, give me a nice shot for the end of the video. Tidy some of this away. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with those. Hopefully you've enjoyed learning how to make the album base. And have a think about how you could make one of these to give away as a gift, or for yourself. I mean, for your handbag, if you've got grandchildren, or like me, I've got nieces, a great niece, so lovely to have in your bag. as a brag book to be able to show people. Just fantastic. So I'm going to spin round and just say a few closing words just to end the video. Oh, I should recap. Before I go, should I recap? I'll just recap the actual scoring. So I'm going to get myself a piece of DSP here, and just for illustration purposes, let's straighten the camera up. Let me run through that scoring again. So this piece of DSP is what I would say is omnidirectional. It doesn't have a direction. It doesn't matter which way up you put it, backwards or forwards. So I would suggest that this is a good one to start with. Get a piece that has a pattern that's the same direction, and you need to score. Your first score is at 6 inches, so that's basically in half. If you don't have a scoring tool, you could fold it in half, and then you're going to turn it once clockwise, and you're going to score at 4 inches and 8 inches. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're actually going to make a cut. You've got this 6-inch score line running across the middle, and you're going to actually make a cut in to the first 4-inch score line. Then you're going to make a cut in along the 6-inch score line to that 8-inch score line, and that makes your book. You then fold it in half, fold all the folds in, you fold your flaps in, and then you flip it, so you've got the fold at the bottom and the opening at the top, and then you glue the middle section back to back, or if you want that secret pocket, you just glue the sides and glue it back to back, and you've got that secret pocket. Rewind the video if you're watching again and you're making one, and just watch me from the beginning, and then let's just turn you around. And we'll take a seat. And then when you've got your basic album, booklet, brag book, whatever you want to call it, it's up to you how you decorate. Hopefully I've given you some ideas with making those little pockets down the sides, or making those diagonal pockets, or simply if you've got some small envelopes, stick some small envelopes in and just have a play, have some fun, and decorate them, fill them with lovely things and thoughts, and then send them off to people. I think it'd be lovely for someone to get some happy mail. Now, where's my notebook? I've got stuff everywhere. What kinds of things do I have to tell you? Just before you go, I'm not going to keep you. If you want to order anything at all and you're local and you want to guarantee Christmas delivery, then please can I have your orders by tomorrow lunchtime, because tomorrow is the last ordering date. I want to get my order on in my lunch break tomorrow. So yes, please, if you are not local to me and you want to place an order online, please use my shop, and tomorrow is your cut-off date for guaranteed delivery before Christmas. If you order anything after tomorrow, of course, there's an outside chance it may come, but they can't guarantee. And but the online store is open 24/7, so you can place an order anytime, and I'm here. You can place an order anytime with me as well. But just those guaranteed by Christmas orders by tomorrow, please. Next week, there's unlikely to be a live like this, just because I've got lots to do. It's coming up to Christmas. We've all got stuff to do. So I'm not going to promise a live demo next week. If I do find myself at a loose end and happen to be in my craft room and happen to have some time, I might hop on, just like I did yesterday, with a bit of an impromptu hello everyone. And I'm not planning anything major now before Christmas in terms of live demonstrations. I'll possibly do another one. It might just be a general card making. It might be, oh look, I've got my new mini cutting machine and look what I've done with it. So I will be here and I will be hopping on. It's not the end of me before Christmas, but I'm not planning on any main demonstrations now before Christmas, I don't think. And in January, I'm going to start a new programme of demonstration, and I will be publishing my programme of what activities I'm going to be doing. So there'll be once a month, one major class that you can join in with, either to purchase the kit or just use your own stuff at home. There will be once a quarter, a big event that's probably going to be certainly half a day, if not a full day, and that will be online, and that will be by purchase only. And in between, I'm going to be doing much shorter live sessions, so it might be any time of day, but you'll be able to watch them back later. So it could be Cuppa and Craft, Craft and Chat, could be Cuppa and Catalogue, it could be just Crafty Chit Chat, it could be anything. But I will be still doing lives, but I'm going to be very focused on what I'm doing. So watch out for my new programme. I'm hoping to get my head down and get that all typed up and organised in the next couple of weeks, so you know what's coming up. The other thing that will be arriving on Thursday with my mini cutting machine will be the new catalogues. So I am also aiming, as well as doing all my Christmas cards and everything else, I am aiming to get your catalogues out. So anyone who has ordered from me in 2020 will definitely get a catalogue automatically in the post or hand delivered if you're local. If you haven't ordered from me but you still want a catalogue, then please just let me know and I will endeavour to get you one. Okay, that's everything, I think. Let me just yes, checking all my notes. Lovely. So until next time, whenever that might be, stay safe, keep calm and keep crafting. Lots of love. Bye.